Hey guys, this is an advanced tutorial for customizing the B13 seasonal communication snapshot. If you want to add more holidays or more countries to the module that are not out of the box supported by Extendly or not in the snapshot already or the module already, then this is going to be for you. It is a little more advanced. It is not as much difficult to do as it is just a little bit more tedious. And you need to be very careful that you're when you're doing any of these more advanced customizations. But don't let that stop you. I believe you can do it. So just follow these couple steps here. So the underlying thing that you need to know to be able to edit this snapshot is to know how the custom fields work. Now, I've mentioned them in the previous videos, but I'm going to go in a little more in depth in this one. So in the custom fields, you're going to notice that we have holiday 01 name, holiday 01 date. And the reason why you're able to not have 5,000 custom fields for every single country is that we're using a generic set of custom fields to launch, and also if you want to use as a variable to customize for the client. So if they're in Canada, we're setting holiday 1 date and holiday 1 name to July 1st for Canada Day. But if you're in USA, we could send holiday 1 for Independence Day, and name would be Independence Day, and holiday 1 would be July 4th. So that's essentially in a nutshell how the custom fields work. So when you're jumping into the automations, B13, there's a couple things that you're going to need to do. So first off, we are going to have to create the specific country's holiday cadences. So in this case, 2.1, you would make a duplicate. You would duplicate the workflow. And we change country as USA, change the name to country as Albania, or whatever name you want to, or country you're trying to build for. Now, on this workflow, to understand this, we have an if flow that is the year is, and starting on the far left, 2003, 4, 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. And then on the y-axis, we have the actual holidays. So we have New Year's is holiday 01. And as you can see, we have holiday 1 date and the holiday 1 name, New Year's. So it's as easy as switching this workflow to that. And in this case, because we're still in the USA, if I change this here, anyone that is marked as country United States will receive this set of holiday cadences, their messages, and the name. And so it's relatively easy to set that part. And here's the fun part is just doing it for every single year. And because holidays change very slightly, every single year, third week of the third month or whatever it is, depending on some of them are on the fixed date, you just have to do that. It feels like a lot, but it actually doesn't take as long as you think to add them all in. And the same for the custom. And now if you want more than the 15 that are here, or if you want to have less than the 12, like let's say you want to have only 5 holidays messages sent out. So you don't want to have like 12 days or 12 different messages. This if then statement is kind of the cutoff. So any of your unused holidays, you would just move them here. So this one, we just move this action to there, and that will stop. That will make it so that that it will not update the contacts, any of the contacts with the ones that are below here. Now keep in mind, if you do move any of them here and people have them already set, that date will still go. It'll just eventually stop updating. It'll stop updating with the new one. It won't break in the way that it'll cause some error. It just, the date will stay. It'll still fire the one last time, and then it will just stop updating because it's not going to get the next year's date to set off. So cool. So assuming that you've set all of the holidays that you want for your new country's holiday list, there's a couple more steps that you're going to have to do. So that's how we set the actual dates and the names. And then we have a second workflow that actually sends the messages out. So after we have set contact, after we've set the country's holiday days, we then have to connect the holiday messages. So what we have is a series of 15 and generic holiday date triggers. And so every single holiday date, we have the custom field holiday date. We have, there's another setting, which we're going to go through in a second. And what we have as a default is 3 days before holiday 15 days. So we, in this case, holiday number 15 for the USA, just to filter out anyone that accidentally gets in here. And we're also saying before number of days 3. Now this one is important because if you have a large list of 10,000 people, you can't just send out 10,000 holiday messages and expect it to all get added to the workflow properly. So what we do is we send them in 3 days before the actual holiday. And then what'll happen is, you'll see this in the first one. So let's say it's holiday number 1. We're going to set the event time to holiday 1, wait for the, and then we're going to wait because we've entered 3 days later. We're now actually going to wait for the event. And when the event actually starts, we will then send, in this case, the New Year's message. So we're going to send the New Year's message 3 days. We're going to send it on New Year's, but we're adding them to the workflow 3 days earlier. And the reason for this is technically how high level works is that it adds people in only 250 per hour into a workflow. But once they're in, the wait steps is pretty much instantaneous. Even if with a very large list, it might take several seconds, but it's fairly reliable for that. Now, the other bottleneck might be the email servers, but there's only so many that we can. This at least eliminates the workflow bottlenecks. And then at the end of each one of these flows, we have setting the country holidays. So basically, after somebody has gotten January 1st, 2025, we're then going to send them back through the holiday, what is it called there? We're going to send them back through the holiday workflow that will set the dates. And now it'll set the date for the next year because they're now in 2025. And so there's a fail-safe check after every single holiday to make sure that if you've made any changes to the holiday cadences and they're already in, it will automatically always get the latest and greatest. There's a very small margin for error, but they might get one message from that, but then it'll always reset to the right one. So it's self-correcting. So for customizing this is you will copy this whole workflow. You'll leave the top the same, minus changing the date from USA to whichever country that you want. And obviously, you'll have to change that custom field to allow that date. And then the second part that you're going to edit is you leave everything else the same except for the message. So the templates are all linked. So holiday 01 is linked to template 01. Workflow 2.2 email holiday 01. So you're going to want to have whatever you change this workflow to. So let's say you change this to 3.2, and then you change this to Canada. And this is the new workflow. You would make a new template, copy this one, and change the name to 3.2, but leave the 01 the same because we don't care about the name Happy New Year. We actually only really care about the number in the workflow. The name is just a helpful quality of life to make it easier to remember which email is which. So I'm going to cancel it. So that's it, all that is there to it. So you have all 15 dates that you can set and change and customize the messages for. And the ones that you don't set or you don't use, you don't need to worry about it because these messages will only fire off if in the previous step there in that other workflow we talked about is what actually fires them all off. So we're getting out of there. And then just as a final thing, just to show you the emails, we're going to go into email templates. So again, we have all of the emails, and currently in this video, they're only linked. We only have the USA ones, but we're going to be adding other countries in. But the ones that you don't, you would just be copying all of these templates and make sure that they're linked in that workflows that I just told you about. As a final, that should be everything for creating your own. Oh, nope, there's one or two more things to go through. Marketing automations. We also have these two. The tag router is very, very simple. We have when the tag is added or the tag is removed, you need to be able to then remove from the workflows. So if somebody removes holiday contact, we want to just take them out of any existing workflows because they were added 3 days early. We don't want them still getting that message 3 days later. So make sure you add any workflows that you want to pull them out of when the tag is taken off. And then secondly, you want to make sure that you set here and add a branch for your country. So I've been working on the Canadian one, and you're going to want to go into the if statement in workflow 1.0. And you're going to want to add a branch for which country, for all the different countries that you have, because if they're Albanian, you're going to want to send them the Albanian one. And we have a final catch-all that sets the default one, as we explained in a previous video. But if they don't match any of the countries, which is the country one set of workflows that you want to send them to after, if there's no country set. And that's the end of all the mandatory things. I'm going to show you one more, just a quick little aside. The custom fields, there was that extra custom field that didn't go through. B13 country holidays. So what we have is this, with this field here, I'm just going to edit it to show you. We have to, so there's a couple use cases. So using the system field for setting is the, there's a couple limitations. So we had to add this extra one in. So all you need to know is to make sure that you add the country here and that you've edited the workflow as well in the workflow there. So if you wanted to add Albania, it's a bit using. There you go. You would add it in there. And then in the automations, I'll just show where that links up. In workflow 1.0, we set the country holiday to USA, Canada. So make sure so it'll get set here. And then finally, we have and then that links up to, again, when you're doing the actual sending out of the holiday messages, we have this whole custom field system is there. The custom field, country holidays, this is there as to be able to protect people from being able to be, so that we're not just checking, if in case anything else goes wrong, we always have this to check for it. And the reason why we can't just use the country, because if they don't have a country, then we can't actually filter them out, because we still want to be able to use this as a default. If they have no country set, we want to use this as a default in there. So just added that extra one in. And so that's all there is to it there, guys. So that's how you'll add in your own countries if you want to take it to that advanced level. Or you can just wait to and put in a request, and we'll, if we get lots of requests for a certain country, we might go ahead and put it in for you.